Should you buy a Wii U in 2024? Let's talk about it. Let's go! Hello everyone, it has been a really long time. I'm Mr. Josh from the Lintendo channel, and welcome to this video. As the title of the video suggests, should you buy a Wii U in 2024? Now that is a question for the philosophers. No, that being said, I'm going to talk about a few points of why I think you should buy a Wii U in 2024. If you don't know really much about the history of the Wii U, it started development in 2008, and it was a successor to the Wii, an HD successor. Now this is Nintendo's really first foray into HD, 720p and above, and they didn't really deliver too much on it. It was a decently good HD competitor at the time. It had slightly more power than the Xbox 360 at the time, and that's not really saying much because this was supposed to be a competitor basically to the PS4 and Xbox One, as it was supposed to have a little bit longer lifespan, but that didn't end up happening. The Wii U had two different models, one 8GB model that was white and one model that was 32GB and that was black. The white model was $300 or $299 at launch, and the black model, premium model, was $350. So now that you know a little bit more about the Wii U, why should you buy a Wii U in 2024? Well, nowadays, because the system has been there since 2012, it's about 12 years old. Now when you think about it, it's like, whew, that is, for me, that's, it didn't feel that long ago, but it is a long time ago. So the console is at least inexpensive to purchase, as it currently goes for around about $120-ish online, or you can find it for even cheaper if you go on your local marketplace like Facebook Marketplace or OfferUp or Craigslist or something like that. Whatever you have, you can probably find one relatively cheap, at least here in the US. It's not super expensive to collect for. A relatively lower cost one. Now you can find other systems for way cheaper, but it's not too bad if you want something that's a little more obscure. Now the Wii U's main feature for the system really is the gamepad. If you don't know what the gamepad is, it was essentially a bigger looking Switch. I mean, it was just a chunkier version. But it also had many features that really weren't on other systems at the time. So you could use that second screen sort of like a DS, as you could, be a map, or you can just play a game, or you can just put the game that you have on the screen onto your actual system and actually play the game that way, and someone else can use the TV for watching TV or watching something or doing something else or playing a different system or something like that. It was a good way to utilize that. It also had two-screen functionality, so games like Nintendo Land utilized both of them. A lot of Nintendo games in general try to help utilize a lot more of that second screen into their games. Now, as the games that did get ported over to Switch kind of didn't really utilize it that much, or they outright got rid of those options. So it was a nice way to at least have something secondary to look at, and also to use a second screen for, so like sorting inventory and stuff like that. That was just a really great way to utilize that. Also, multiplayer was really cool. So for example, if you played a game like Splatoon or something else, or like an FPS, you could have one person on that screen and the other players be on the other screen. So you can have multiple players have multiple screens. So you can have one guy sitting with the gamepad playing like that. You can have other friends playing on another screen. That was just a really cool idea for that. I remember back in the day playing Call of Duty Black Ops 2 on the Wii U and having one person play on the gamepad and us playing with Wiimote Nunchuck, Classic Controller, the Wii U Pro Controller. That was just a fun time. It was kind of hard because I wasn't really used to playing Wiimote and Nunchuck on those games, but hey, we just still had a fun time, and it was a really great way to utilize that. Now that I think about it, because the Wii U is a part of that Wii line, you could use stuff like the Wiimotes. Now, a lot of the times, newer Wiimotes that did come out during that time, it was a good thing. But there was just a lot of options that you could utilize for Wii U games. So Wii U games could have Wiimote Nunchuck support, Classic Controller support, and also the standard gamepad and Wii U Pro Controller. So the Wii U really had a lot of versatility when it came to playing those type of games. So if you didn't have any of the other controllers, if you had at least Wiimotes, you could at least play a lot of those games if you didn't have another one. Because it could utilize Wiimote and Nunchuck, you could actually have backwards compatibility on the system. Now this was something that was kind of touted for on the Wii U back then. So if you essentially upgraded your Wii U, you could essentially transfer all of your stuff from the Wii onto the Wii U. So you would have all your save data, all of your stuff, everything could be transferred to your Wii U. Now, honestly, it's not as great as you think, because there were actually a lot of functionality that was erased because of the Wii U and the virtual Wii, as we like to call it. Now that you have found your system, it's time to buy some games. Now, the only way to buy games now for online, to actually buy them, is physical, as Nintendo shut down the eShop for both 3DS and Wii U relatively recently. That's really the only legal way to obtain video games, is to buy the physical. Well, thankfully, a lot of the Wii U games right now are relatively inexpensive. The only ones that are really super expensive are like sort of the heavy hitters that were like the Zelda games. I would say are probably the most expensive on the Wii U, but a lot of those games you really can't find on the Switch or on the current system. So unless you want to go back to playing the Wii or the GameCube version of certain titles like Zelda HD or even Wind Waker, the Wii U option is probably the best one, as they are in HD and they look a lot better than the SD counterparts. But the Wii U has a lot of great games outside of just ports. They had games like Paper Mario Color Splash, Xenoblade Chronicles X, Splatoon 1, heck, even Nintendo Land, the pack-in title, is an amazing game, an amazing experience that you can have on the system. Although there is a bit of a caveat, yeah, like I said earlier, there are a good chunk of games that are on the Switch, but those are the deluxe ports like Mario Kart 8, New Super Mario Bros. U, Mario 3D World, Pokken Tournament, Hyrule Warriors, and a few more. Yes, a lot of those games ended up being on Switch, but you can find a lot of those games cheaper on Wii U than you can play them on the Switch. Now, that is a good option. I mean, if physical really isn't your thing, you can always sail the 7 seas and mod your Wii U. So, that comes to my next point. Modifying your Wii U is actually not hard at all. It is actually fairly simple. And the mods are actually pretty decent. There's a lot of good mods that you can install on your Wii U. From amiibo emulation to using modern controllers like your PS5, your Xbox, and your Switch controllers. Heck, a bunch of other controllers that you never thought possible you could use, as long as it was Bluetooth, you could use on your Wii U. There's region unlocking. There's online through Nintendo and a lot more. There is so much more to do with the Wii U, and it's really, really cool. And another point on that for online with Wii U is that the online and the eShops were shut down over the last few months to a year. When Nintendo officially shut down the servers, I did a stream about it. I was playing on the last day as well, so if you want to check that out, you can go see the information card up there. But yeah, there's an official replacement of Nintendo servers called Pretendo. If you don't know what that is, I also do have a video on that as well, so be sure to check that out. There'll be a link in the description if you want to watch my video on Pretendo. But it's not just being online that is the main point, but Miiverse. If you didn't know what Miiverse was, it was essentially Nintendo's social network. Nintendo made a social network for Wii U and 3DS, most notably Wii U. They later added it to the 3DS about a year later, but it was a really, really good tool to post something, to post anything, as long as it was appropriate, age appropriate. You could talk about like your favorite games, getting some tips and tricks from people. People would respond or give a like. You could do drawings, you could post stuff. It was just a really, really good way to talk to the community of your fellow Wii U users and 3DS users. It also was a way to find new people, new friends to chat with, to play with if you had a game that played online, or just talk to people online. It was honestly Nintendo's best implementation of a social network, and they really haven't done one since. So what is the point of talking about the good points of the Wii U? Why am I talking about this? Well, because of the low sales, I think that the Wii U will go up eventually. I think the prices of the Wii U games and the system will go up eventually, because again, it is a Nintendo system. Honestly, you look at the GameCube right now, it's one of those systems that was really underappreciated back then, and now it's just one of those systems where we're reaching all-time highs in games, games being bought for it, and a lot of those games you can't really find for really under 50 bucks. Now there is a good chunk of them, but the ones that are kind of obscure and that weren't really sold very well, those are really expensive. So that's kind of one reason why I think that you should go and buy a Wii U. With 6 million units in North America, I just don't think it's really valid to think that, oh, all these systems are going to be super expensive. Honestly, I look at a system like the Dreamcast, and that's kind of in a similar situation, with the console itself not being super expensive, but the games being astronomically high. And the Sonic Adventure games are pretty expensive in my opinion. When I was working at a retro game store, we were selling Sonic Adventure Battle 2 for about 120 bucks. Now, that is a lot of money for one video game. Imagine all the other more rarer games that were on the Dreamcast. Those are even more expensive. So we have the Wii U here, we already have some expensive games. And I think now is actually a great time to go pick up a Wii U. So what do you guys think on owning a Wii U? Do you guys personally have one? And if not, or do you plan on picking one up? Let me know down in the comment section below. So I would just say thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Be sure to like, subscribe, and ring that notification bell if you want to watch more of my future content. If you want to watch something else, make sure to click the in-card stream right here. That is my Pretendo video, so be sure to check that out. Anyways, that'll do it for today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys in the next video. This is Josh from Lintendo channel signing out.